there, welcome to the channel or welcome back. My name is Angela. I'm a home gardener growing in my Zone 6 garden, Southwest Ohio in the US. And if your garden or your property, your grounds are anything like mine, you may have that one spot that just seems to stay consistently wet, soggy, however you want to say it. Just anytime there's precipitation at all, you're going to be dealing with maybe some standing water or at least some soggy ground for a little while, and you have no idea how to manage that spot, but you know that something's got to be done with it. And it could be for any number of reasons that you just don't want to leave it the way that it is. Maybe it's in an area that is like heavily traversed and you kind of want to divert people and pets and everybody else kind of around that spot. Or it could just be an eyesore that you just are kind of tired of looking at. Today I'm going to share with you guys how I'm planning to deal with a similar spot here in my own garden. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Here at our woodland garden, we have a lot of varied terrain, microclimates. We have some sunny spots that are dry, shaded spots that are just perfect with that rich humusy soil. We have dry shaded spot. It just runs the gamut. The spot that's really vexing me right now is a mostly shaded, at least in the summertime, it's mostly shaded or filtered shade. And it's a kind of a depression in the ground, about circular space, maybe about six feet in diameter, something like that. And if you've been following along with my gardening endeavors this year, you may recall that I'm really focused heavily on landscaping. We don't have a lot of pretty landscaped areas here, although there's a lot of natural beauty with some trees and things like that, but I really want to level it up a notch. And this particular area, the patch that I'm wanting to fix, really wasn't high on my priority list as I'm kind of working my way around, calling them Zone 1, Zone 2 in order of priority. This spot really wasn't too high on the priority list until recently, when we've had some rains and it's really just kind of driving me crazy that it's just a puddle for a little while afterwards. So I kind of bumped it up a little higher on the priority list and trying to see what some options are for solving this problem. I'm going to take you outside and look at the spot here in just a moment. And in this particular spot, because it's heavily shaded in the summer, grass really won't grow there, so that's not too much of an option. So I was left with a few different options. I could do an all-around kind of ground cover in the space, and that would work, or perennials. I wasn't too keen on putting some low-growing perennials there just because it's kind of in a path that could easily be trampled by our dog when he's playing ball, when we're playing fetch with him. So that left me with maybe the third and most practical option, and that was to plant some small shrubs in that space. That way, once they grow up to their full height, and I'm thinking maybe no more than 3 to 4 feet tall, more about that here in a second, it would provide a natural kind of barrier that that spot couldn't be walked on because there's shrubs in the way. Of course, leaving room around them for foot traffic. And that led me down the rabbit hole of Googling, searching for shrubs with the following criteria. And I thought it was going to be like a hard bill to fill, but it turns out I had a few options. So the criteria are mostly shaded, wet soil, consistently moist, pretty much. Unless we're in severe drought, I can count on that area to be decently moist. And the size being on the short end of things. The reason why I didn't want anything too tall there is because beyond, that area is pretty much right in front of the house. And then beyond that, we have a pond that I really like to be able to see. So I didn't want to block visibility to the pond when we are like on the front porch or something like that. So those were the criteria, and I'm going to share with you some of the shrub options that turned up on my search. But in the meantime, let's go out and take a look at the space. Now, full transparency, I did film this outdoor segment a couple of days ago, which turned out to be a good idea because yesterday it was raining drizzly all day, and today we have snow. So I think I got the timing right on that. Anyway, let's go outside and look at the space. Okay, so I got you out here to show you the exact spot that I'm looking at. It's right there. I'll take you in closer. Let's reference the house and the veggie garden. We'll anchor you, get you a little orientation there. But the spot that's the problem spot is right in here. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to show like the depression in the ground. Let me go over here. It's a little bit of a low-lying spot. It's a little circular depression, maybe 6 feet in diameter, right in here. So that's where I want to get these shrubs planted, and it'll kind of tie in with my landscaping plans long term, which is basically I want to get the whole place with native shrubs and perennials and just looking really pretty and give value back to the wildlife, you know, to the earth. And that's the little bed I've been working on right along the front walkway there. So when I plant the shrubs here, there will still be a walking path right all along there. And then I do have to keep this little section open because that's a direct path from the steps out into the yard, and my dog uses that all the time when he goes outside. This was here when we moved in. It's some sort of a concrete like pipe or tube or something with a metal pan, like half pan, a bowl on the top of it. And the owl was here too. We've just kept them around all these years. Some summers I plant annuals inside the bowl. I didn't do anything with it this year, and it's maybe more of an eyesore than it is a decorative feature at this point. So we can easily move that if we need to get it out of the way of this depression here for the new shrubs. Let's head back in because it's like 25 degrees and it's pretty chilly. The sun is deceptive today. Before we head all the way back in, looking at it from up here on the porch, you can kind of see where it is, why I want the shrubs to be a little on the shorter side. We have a nice pond out there that we like to be able to see. And granted, it's winter, but even in the summer, we can still see through some of the trees because they're pretty sparse. So it's just nice to be able to see the pond from here. So anything that I plant up in this whole area at large, I kind of need for that to be on the shorter side just to not obstruct the view. So it was kind of a pretty tall order. That area where the shrubs are going to go is pretty shady. This is an oak here, this big tree in the foreground. You can see the long branch that arches over. So while that area is sunny now, in the summertime it's going to be at least half shaded. It will get some dappled sunlight, but not full sun by any stretch of the imagination. So we're working with an area that's mostly shady, soggy, and the plants need to be on the shorter side. Those were my search criteria. And on top of that, ideally, native shrubs. So kind of a tall order. Thank goodness for Google and AI. So now that we have seen the space and we're all on the same page with what my personal, like my self-imposed criteria were, well, not all of it was self-imposed, only the visual, the height, the shade, and the wet, soggy ground, that's outside of my control. That was imposed by Mother Nature. I turned up 6 different shrubs that could possibly fit this bill, or maybe not. They were the closest ones that I had to choose from. So I'm going to go down that list of 6 with you. And as I do, I'll put a picture up here and I'll credit the source of the photos in the description below. So I didn't take any of these photos. So the first one was, I've got notes here. So if you see me looking down, I'm just checking out my notes. The first one was Little Henry Sweetspire. Oh yeah, and another criteria, preferably native to this region, or at least the eastern half of the United States. So it was kind of a tall order to fill, and I was surprised that I got back as many possibles as I did. So number 1, Little Henry Sweetspire, and this one is known to thrive in wet, moist soils, loving damp spots like stream banks, but also adaptable and handles average garden soil well. And it gets to be, oh, and it can even handle occasional standing water. So that sounds pretty good. And 3 feet tall. And that one does happen to be native to this area, so it's a bonus. I'm not set on having something truly native to this particular zip code, but if I could get that, it would be best. Number 2, Spicebush. That one is also native to our state. Grows in full sun to full shade, but truly excels in partial shade understory conditions. So that might work out really well, because if I didn't say it before, the spot that we're working with is underneath of an oak tree. So there's a long branch that kind of juts out right over the top of this spot. So it is an understory type of situation. Spicebush gets 12 to 15 feet tall. So it's a little bit tall for my liking. It would block the view. Plus, if it really got that tall, I would be maybe a little concerned that it would interfere with the oak tree, that it just wouldn't play nicely with that low branch of the oak tree. And by the way, I do have already on the grounds one Little Henry Sweetspire that's really kind of close to the spot that we're looking at now. I just put it in earlier this year, and it has done really well, so that's a plus for that. I also do have a Spicebush that I put in last year, maybe fall of 23, the year before. It's doing pretty well. It's a little bit further out on the grounds. It's doing pretty well. It's growing a little slowly, but it has grown and it's thriving, and it's in partial shady conditions. It, however, is not in a low-lying area. It's kind of on a little bit of a mound, so it's just the opposite of this situation here. Let's see. Number 3 was Summersweet. It's an East Coast native, not native to Ohio. No big deal. Successful in full sun, partial sun or shade, or full shade. So that's a plus there. This one gets up to 8 feet tall. So it's a little bit shorter than the Spicebush, and it could be workable if I kept it pruned. So let's put a pin in that one. Number 4, Inkberry Holly. East Coast native, again, like the Summersweet, not native to Ohio, not a big deal. Loves wet soil, so that's a real plus. Very tolerant of consistently moist to wet conditions, even occasional flooding. So that's really good. Full sun to part shade, 5 to 8 feet tall. So that's pretty workable, 5 to 8 feet. I really want something that's maybe 4 feet or less, but if we could keep it at 5 easily without pruning all the time, it could be an option. Number 5, Buttonbush. It is a native to our region. It can tolerate flood conditions, yes to that, and shallow standing water for short periods of time. Full sun to part shade. Grows up to 12 feet tall. I do have a Buttonbush on the property that I just put in earlier this year, actually just earlier this fall. It's small though, really small. So 12 feet is pretty tall, and I'm not sure how fast it would get there, and then if I had to keep pruning it all the time, how fast it would grow back, and if it was going to be a constant pruning situation. So not sure on that one. And then number 6, Red Twig Dogwood, which is native to our region. It loves wet soil, and it is an excellent choice for rain gardens, stream banks, or soggy spots. Full sun to part shade. This one has an added benefit of having gorgeous winter interest. It, like all sources that I checked out, said that it really needs full sun to get that those vibrant red stems in the winter. So I might not be able to count on that. And the height is 6 to 9 feet. So again, on the taller side. And out of all of these 6, while it looks like there could be, any one of them might work in the space, based on the size constraints that I have chosen, based on that alone, it kind of looked like there was a clear winner, the Little Henry Sweetspire. And I forgot to mention, because I do have one already planted, this fall it turned really gorgeous red. So it has that level of interest as well, like an added bonus. So I was kind of really leaning towards that. And just because it won't probably get more than 3 to 4 feet tall. And I'm looking at probably doing a grouping of 3 of these, kind of in a sort of a triangle or a circular shape out there to block off that whole spot. And then we could walk around it either way. And I could also do beds on other sides of it. My ultimate goal with all this landscaping I'm doing is just to have totally full of native shrubs and also some non-natives, as long as they're not invasive, but pathways going everywhere. That's like my dream garden. So this could fit in with the pathways around it. So given all of this, everything that I learned during this exercise, I did decide to go ahead with the Little Henry Sweetspire. And I ordered 3 of them from a seller on Etsy. The price was reasonable. I will link that Etsy shop below. It's called Hirt's Gardens, Hirts. I'll link their shop below in case you're interested. And while I was at it, just to make like the shipping costs make a little bit more sense and to get the most out of the price of shipping, I added 3 other shrubs on to go in other areas of the property. So once that arrives, and it will arrive like soon, they don't wait until spring to ship from what I could tell. So I should be getting that order soon. I'll show you the whole haul that I got, and we'll take a look at these Sweetspire. I won't be planting them probably until around April though. That's about it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed playing detective on finding the right shrub for this job. If you found the video helpful, it would really help my channel out if you would give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so, especially if you want to see this plant haul once it comes in. And in the meantime, it might be fun to take a look back to the beginning of 2025 when I kind of shared my plans for my dream garden. If that sounds interesting to you, I will link that video right over here. Thanks so much again for watching. It really means the world to me that you've chosen to hang out with me today in my Christmas living room. We're getting there. Still no ornaments on the tree yet, or just a few. I'm kind of doing it in stages. It makes it a little bit easier to fit in with everything going on. And until next time, just keep planting.